Hello from Top Withens. This is the first ever webcast from Top Withens, high on the moors above Haworth and the Worth Valley. For centuries, this place has given inspiration for writers and artists alike, and none more famous than the Bronte family from Haworth. Indeed, this ruined farmhouse is said by some to be the inspiration and the setting for Emily Bronte's 1847 novel Wuthering Heights. We thought, as part of Haworth Festival, we wanted to show that the appreciation and presentation of arts really wasn't dead here, and showcase some of the talent that's out there. So we've got a couple of performances tonight that we're going to go to in just a moment. To do this, though, we needed to connect to the internet, and to do that we turned to Fibre Valley. They're a community broadband campaign looking at connectivity in this area, and they supplied us with something called a YB, which is giving us some nice broadband connectivity at the moment. Interestingly, faster than a lot of the connectivity that you can get just a few miles away down in the village of Stanbury. And even though this may be... Someone want to just grab that? I think that's John calling, probably to say that it's not streaming particularly well, but we're going to keep going. Down in the valley below, the connectivity may not be good, but the connection is still very, very important. So we're going to go live now to Johnny Briggs, who is a local storyteller who's going to tell the story of the moors through the words of that patriarch of... Everything all right? The wind? Okay. So hopefully you can hear that now we're going to go to Johnny Briggs, who is a local storyteller who's going to tell the story of the moor through the words of Patrick Bronte.
When were the winds let slip with such a warrant to destroy? When did the waves so haughtily o'erleap their ancient barriers, deluging the dry? Fires from beneath, meteors from above, portentous, unexampled, unexplained, have kindled beacons in the skies, and the old and crazy earth has had her shaking fits more frequent, and forgone her usual rest. You all know that on the 2nd day of this month of September, and in the present year of our Lord 1824, at about 6 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 portions of the moors in the neighbourhood sunk several yards during a heavy storm of thunder, lightning, and rain, and issued forth a mighty volume of mud and water that spread alarm, astonishment, and danger along its course of many miles. Previously to the issuing forth of this flood, as I learned from some who reside near the place, there was very considerable tremor of the neighbouring parts, and I was able myself to perceive something of the kind, though at the distance of 4 miles. This circumstance, which was not noticed by many who live much nearer, requires some explanation, which I shall give you in a few words. As the day was exceedingly fine, I had sent my sweet little children, who were indisposed, accompanied by the servants, to take an airing on the common, and as they stayed rather longer than I expected, I went to an upper chamber to look out for their return. The heavens over the moors were blackening fast. I heard a muttering of distant thunder, and saw the frequent flashing of the lightning. Though 10 minutes before there was scarcely a breath of air stirring, the gale freshened rapidly, and carried along with its cloud of dust and stubble, and by this time some large drops of rain clearly announced an approaching heavy shower. My little family had escaped to a place of shelter, but I didn't know it. I consequently watched every movement of the coming tempest with a painful degree of interest. The house was perfectly still. Under these circumstances I heard a deep, distant explosion, something resembling, yet something differing from thunder, and I perceived a gentle tremor in the chamber in which I was standing, and in the glass of the window just before me, which at the time made an extraordinary impression on my mind, and which, I have no manner of doubt now, was the effect of an earthquake at the place of eruption. When you look around these moors, you begin to understand the wildness and the beauty of my daughter Emily.
Hello there. I'm going to, as loud as I can, I'm going to get out of the wind and sit here. Good evening, everybody. My name is Simon Warner, and I'm the artist in residence with the Watershed Landscape Project for this year. And that's a scheme run by Pennine Prospects, a local environmental organisation in Hebden Bridge. And I've obviously been working as a photographer and an image-making man for some years. And I live in Stanbury, as people know. So I really wanted to get to grips again with the local landscape and thought that there must be more things to discover about these moors. And I've kind of homed in on Top Withens, which is why it's so good that we're here tonight, because I think it is the most fascinating meeting of roots, if you like, and meeting on the watershed of all kinds of influences. And some of these influences are to do with walking, modern walking in particular, and some of them are to do with the literary background, which was supplied by Emily Bronte. But because of her, the moor and Top Withens in particular have achieved this almost mythological status. So I've been really interested doing the work that's going to be exhibited at the Bronte Parsonage Museum in the autumn, to kind of take another look at Top Withens in terms of the way that it's been progressively reinterpreted by people through the last 100 years. It's been empty, this shell that we're sitting in now, it's been empty for over 100 years, or for about 100 years, and a ruin, can a ruin have an afterlife? Because here it seems that the further away we get from habitation, the more visitors come up here, the more artistic responses there are to it. And I'm particularly struck by the photographs that have been taken by quite well-known, famous photographers over the years, some of which we're hoping to exhibit in the parsonage, and also the other writers who've been here, Ted Hughes, Sylvia Plath, who came together in 1961 when they were first married. They both wrote 2 or 3 poems about this very spot, and Ted Hughes even writes about the photograph he took of Sylvia sitting in the sycamore trees, which are still flowering just outside here. So there's a continuing story which everybody is telling, and it gives me great pleasure to be here tonight, relaying it to you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much to Simon Warner and Johnny Briggs for their performances tonight. If you want to know more about how we did this and about rural broadband, you can check out the website that's down just below here, fibrevalley.net, or you can of course go to Rural Broadband, who supplied us with the power pack that's running here today. We're also doing a live stream from the open mic night on Wednesday at 7:30, which is going to be a little bit more organised because we're going to have power. And I'm aware, looking at the battery meter, that our power is going to go very soon. So we hope that all of you down in West Lane Baptist Church are having a lot of fun and food while we're up here freezing. If you're watching from a more remote location, the festival's on all week, so please do try and come along. If you're too far away to do that, join us on Wednesday for the live streaming with a bit of music then as well. But from all of us here at Top Withens, thank you very much and good night.